Have you ever wondered how we, your trusty hosts of the No Excuses Coaching Podcast, Alana and Ryan, how we deal with the highs and lows of social media, how we got into social media, why we're even on social media? Well, today we're going to take you on a behind the scenes tour of our personal experiences. We're going to be totally transparent. So get ready, listeners, to laugh or whatever as we spill the beans on our most embarrassing social media blunders, our biggest social media revelations, our most secret insider tips and strategies that we've honed over the years and why, and find out what we perhaps wish we would have known when we were social media rookies or growing in the social media field. So listen on as we answer several burning questions about our connection to the social media game. Boom, cold open done. How was that, Alana Banks?
Wow.
Holy jumping.
This better be like a really good episode.
Well, I mean, that introduction was so good that even if the rest of the episode sucked, it would be worth it.
Yeah.
Boom. I wrote that myself.
Wait.
I wrote that myself with the help of a robot.
Yeah, good for you. Great opener. I love it. I can't wait. Actually, I do have lots to share about this. I think both of us have a lot to share.
Wrote some big checks in that
big. Yeah.
Big.
Well, hopefully we can cash those checks.
Yeah. Question number one. Why do you like social media? Let's come up with something better than that, but not too much better. We want to remain grounded.
Yeah.
By the way, before we even talk about that, people bought merch.
They did.
Two people
bought mugs. Yeah. 2 people bought mugs.
Mugs. They're out there.
Yeah. The next step is to buy a sweatshirt.
Whoa.
Is that too much to ask?
Somebody buy a sweatshirt.
I'm not wearing it today, but I was wearing it yesterday, actually.
To the people that bought the merch, thank you for buying mugs, and I hope you thoroughly enjoy many years of quality drinking experience from your No Excuses Coaching Podcast mug.
Yeah. And Allison, she shared her mug on social media, on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah. So Aaron, we're looking at you. You got to share it.
Share your mug.
And I know you're listening.
Boom. Challenge posted. Okay. Enough about that. Let's talk about social media. Okay. Question number one goes to Alana Banks. What was your first ever? I'm going to change this question on the fly because this is our podcast and we can do what we want. Okay. What was the first social media platform that you were on?
The first social media platform.
Because most of the first social media platforms that were popular don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, it's so true. What was it called? MySpace?
MySpace, that was a big one back in the day.
Yeah.
Like around the time we were maybe in high school or whatever. MySpace was a big one. High Five was a big one.
I don't remember High Five.
Canada. There was High Five. There was MySpace. There was a lot of like.
I want to say there was another one. I want to say it was like Friendster or something like that. Was that a thing?
I think that one is like more recent. I'm not sure.
Is it more recent? Anyway, I do remember having like a MySpace.
Yeah.
And like I had a blog for a long time. Like I would say my first endeavors into like being social on the internet, I had a blog called Fridays Off. And, we all know that I then morphed that blog into my online fabric store, which was also called Fridays Off. But yeah, if you go to, I think it's like fridaysoff.blog or something like that.
Yeah.
My blog is on there and I loved it. I was such a blogger.
So when I was in high school, I remember there was these really niche social media platforms And one of the ones that was really popular in like in my friend group and in the high schools, I kind of went to one high school but hung out with a lot of people from a different high school. Anyways, there's this one called Asian Avenue. And it was supposed to be, I guess, for Asian people, but everybody was on there. It was like, the early days of social media. That one was really popular, and I had an account on there.
Hmm.
GeoCities, but GeoCities was, although I think it was kind of a social media platform, but it was more like a site where you could host a website. And then there was this other one that was like the first social media platform that like I really had a strong presence on. And I've been racking my brains trying to remember the name of it, but I can't remember the name of it. It
Hmm.
was like for ravers and people that liked electronic music, which at the time I didn't, and I was not. And I'm still not don't call myself a raver, although that I do listen to some electronic music now. But it was just like one of those things. All my friends were on it. And it had like a lot of the features that even Facebook has today. Like it was ahead of its time. Like you could
Hmm.
post photos, blogs, you could have your friend list. Like it was really cool. And it was
Hmm.
easy to, spend time on and get lost in.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, well, I think in terms of the social media places that we hang out today, mine would have been Facebook. Or no, I think actually Twitter. Did Twitter come before Facebook? Or was that after? And I'm so confused because I was like, did I have a Twitter before I had a Facebook?
I actually don't know. So let's look it up. Twitter started in 2006 in Q1 in March.
Yeah, so I think
And
Facebook and Twitter were kind of simultaneous.
Facebook was technically 2004, but
Okay.
Facebook had like kind of a slower, because like when it
Yeah.
started, it was just for certain universities, and then it was just for
Yes.
universities, and like before it was publicly available.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know that I got Facebook in 2007, 100%. So I must have been on Twitter before Facebook.
cool.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so that would have been my first that people know now. That would have been my first social media platform. What about you?
Of modern day social media platforms, yeah, probably Facebook. Man, I don't remember what level of Facebook. It definitely was not Instagram, definitely was not Twitter, because I don't think I've ever had a Twitter presence, although I will soon. Yeah, I guess Facebook. I think there was a time before I was like on social media abstinence for a number of years. There must have been a time where I had a Facebook account
Yeah.
with moderate sort of use.
Yeah. And it's so funny now, like when you look back at the stuff that you would post. Like I used to just post like random stuff. Like I look back now, you know how sometimes you get those memories and sometimes they go back like 5 years, 10 years. Like what were you doing on this day in 2013? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the posts that come up, I'm just like, oh my God, why would I have said something like that? But none of us knew what we were doing back at that time, right? Like we didn't understand social media and like it wasn't being used as it is today as like as a business thing as much. It was really like it was really more of like a personal platform, I would say, for your own private life.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? When I like got back into social media in 2019, I think I first of all I didn't have much there,
Hmm.
but I think I purged like everything from the past. I think I like went out of my way and spent the time to like anything that was still remnant of like stuff I had posted in high school or whenever. I think I
Mm,
deleted it all. So I don't
yeah.
have those like memories coming up of like the weird stuff that I thought was important, in my teens and perhaps early 20s.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
for me, like when
or
Facebook came out, I was 27. So, like, I was in a career at that point. Like, I'm so grateful that Facebook didn't exist when I was like in university, for example, because I would have definitely had to do a bunch of scrubbing. But for me, like I was in my late 20s when I got social media, really. So I think we're going to get to this question at some point, but I can only remember one photo that I was like, this needs to be deleted immediately. Like, I remember sitting at work being like, oh my God, this needs to get deleted now. Um,
What was the photo?
well, a lot of you know that I used to work in public relations. And one weekend, I had to be Dora the Explorer for like a showing at Casa Loma, which is a big tourist attraction in Toronto. And we were doing a meet and greet for like a new DVD series that was coming out for Dora. I remember coming home and that night that we had like a whole bunch of people over. And so like I put my Dora costume on, which I wasn't supposed to do. And there was pictures and, you know, like all these photos being taken, which was hilarious. But in hindsight now, they got posted on Facebook. And I was just like, this cannot be on Facebook because I'm going to get into deep trouble with the, like they weren't horrible photos, but it was like me and like a whole bunch of people with my Dora costume on. Right. So,
Cool. All right. Not as scandalous as I had anticipated, but okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, could have got me into a lot of trouble and potentially lost my job. So, yeah.
Because you
Not,
misappropriated the Dora costume.
yeah. Well, and you can imagine what was happening with the Dora costume.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. No, I can't imagine. Okay. Fair enough. I like it.
Anyway, that's kind of like my most scary moment with social media. And fortunately,
Yeah, that's pretty tame. So
yeah.
all right. That wasn't the question. The question wasn't what was your most scary
I know.
social media. The question was just how are you doing today, Alana? On that whole tangent. So, anyways,
that was a tangent.
That was a tangent. Okay, let's carry on. So, actually, what the question was what were our first social media sort of presence?
First ever post on social media.
Post or yeah.
Mine was probably complaining about something. That was like one of my favorite things to do using social media.
Yeah.
I would have been complaining about something.
Yeah. Remember status updates used to be like a big thing on early Facebook? And it's just like, yeah, it was just nonstop complaining. Or quotes or like, yeah. I don't remember obviously I don't remember my first post ever on social media, but
no,
it was probably something cringy. Like,
totally.
Yeah.
I get them in memories now and I'm like, oh my God, Alana, like, why are you projecting your shit onto? Yeah.
I'm just so out of fact.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. The joys of being a coach, right? Okay. Yeah. Let's go on to the next question. See, this is fun so far.
This is fun. This is good.
Yeah. What social media platform can you absolutely not live without and why? Let's go through this one pretty quick because I don't find this question overly important, but it is interesting. What's your favorite?
Yeah, I would say my favorite is Instagram. Could I not live without it? I mean, no. I could easily live without Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say I love Instagram.
You know what? This one actually is kind of an interesting question because the question is, what social media platform can you absolutely not live without and why? And I think a lot of people would think that Instagram would be my answer because that's where I post the most content and spend the most time doing inputs by far.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. I could still live without it. I could live without technically any social media platform.
Yeah.
But the one that I actually get the most outputs from is actually YouTube. By the way, everybody, YouTube is a social media platform.
Yeah.
In case you weren't aware, I start my mornings pretty much every day with a cup of coffee and watching what is usually aviation videos on YouTube. Aviation and other the way I start my day is with black coffee and sort of consuming video content, educational video content on YouTube about subjects that I'm interested in. I do that before I even get into work stuff, or I'll sort of have YouTube on and maybe I'll be glancing at DMs and emails and stuff. So yeah, so between YouTube and Instagram, those are my two favorites.
Yeah. So what kind of aviation videos are you watching? Like how to fly a plane or the latest technology in the aviation world, or what is it?
All different stuff. So I really like there's this YouTuber named Sam Chui. His
Hmm.
last name is Chui, and he has a channel. He's a aviation enthusiast and he's becoming a pilot, but he got really popular by doing reviews of different airlines and different air travel experiences. Like he would like I think he's flown every first class service, in the major airlines in the world. And he videotapes, the boarding process and the seats and the meals and the crew and just like shows people what these services are like. So,
Cool.
I find that interesting. I also watch another YouTuber who he's a pilot and he breaks down aviation incidents where things have gone wrong and lessons have been learned. And he gets into the real technical details of, how safety has improved in aviation over the years and, stuff like that. So it's kind of a broad range. I'm just generally interested in aviation. I actually am considering getting my pilot's license as well. I
Cool.
was just looking at some information about local flight schools in my area recently. So yeah,
That would be
general
cool.
flying stuff. And like I'm an aviation enthusiast myself. Like I pay attention when I book a flight to what is the make and model of the airplane and what the seat configuration is inside the plane. I'm interested in that kind of stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hmm. You
Boom.
learn something new every day. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I like that. I don't, you know what's funny is like, I don't really watch a lot of YouTube, but
There's
my
so much
kids,
good stuff.
I know there's so much good stuff on there and I should probably watch more of it, but I don't know what it is about YouTube. I'm not drawn to it. Whereas my kids like are obsessed with YouTube. Like that's all they watch is YouTube.
I wasn't into it for a long, long time. And then in the last few years, maybe it was the pandemic. I don't know. But
Yeah.
there's some really great content producers
Yeah.
on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure. Anyways, so
Okay.
there's the answer. Could I live without it? Yes. But I do like it very much. YouTube and Instagram. Those are my faves. Number three would be
Mm.
Facebook. And then we
Hmm.
go down the line.
Yeah. I feel like I've just kind of gotten a new appreciation for Facebook. Like I lost interest for a bit and now I'm kind of back. And they just reinstated the, what's that algorithm called where it's just like chronological?
Okay, yeah, we're on your feed. So
Yeah, your feed is like just
yeah.
chronological now. It has nothing to do with an algorithm. It's just based on like who you follow or who you're friends with and what they're posting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's cool because I'm like seeing things from people that I haven't seen in like so long, which is nice.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go through. We're probably not going to have time for all of these. We have a
No,
dozen questions here,
there's
but
so many questions here. Some of them are like really similar anyways. Okay, what's the next one? What's the most surprising or unexpected way you've gained a follower on social media?
the most I don't see this is kind of a silly question. I don't think I've ever been surprised
Hmm.
to gain a follower, except if it's like, every now and then you get a follower who it's like somebody you met offline, and as far as you know, they don't know your last name and you have no mutual, like, have you ever had somebody like that where it's just like a weird coincidence that they've become your follower
Mm.
on the internet, like somebody you met in passing and and didn't exchange contact info with? That's happened to me a few times. So those are always a little surprising, although usually not in a negative way by any means. um what's the
Yeah, like
weird
I would say that's kind of delightful.
delightful, yeah,
Yeah.
happy surprise. Maybe one thing that I could say about surprising ways to get followers is like offline methods or getting social media followers from a context totally separate from social media. Like last week, I did a guest training for the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy and Picthos, which is the MMHA's sister company. They do really cool software. I did a guest training for them, and as a result of that guest training, like 100 people went and followed me on Instagram because I mentioned my Instagram during the guest training. So that was, again, I wasn't surprised, but maybe some people would be surprised that that's possible that you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I have an answer for this. I guess Yeah, people kind of follow me all the time. And I don't know where they find me from or how they find me, but they do. And I'm always happy
Yeah.
when they follow me.
Yeah. You ever see like in the bathroom at like a rest stop, there's like it's less and less, but like remember like in the old days, people would write phone numbers on the
Yeah.
wall in the
Yeah. Now
bathroom.
you just need to write your IG handle.
And but that's the thing. I've never seen somebody write like an IG handle or like follow me
Yeah.
on IG on the wall. I'm not saying anybody should do this, by the way. It's
Yeah.
vandalism and it's stupid. Um, but maybe that's the next thing. Maybe that's the next place people are going to get followers. They're going to be like, follow at Ryan Montes NLP and black Sharpie on the stall door.
Yeah.
Next,
Next one. Yeah.
should we jump around?
Yeah. Let's jump around.
What's a social media trend you just can't wrap your head around?
I was going to pick that one too. That's funny.
See, that's a good one. That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Here's our opportunity. We've got the soapbox. Let's talk about the stuff people do on social media that we don't get.
I can't think of one at the moment.
There's nothing in social media that people are doing that I don't get. Like I pretty much get why people produce the behaviors that they produce. And that's fine, right?
Yeah.
There's social media trends that I won't do, right? There's social media trends that are just not for me, right? It's not that I don't get them or I think they're wrong. It's just I'm not interested in participating. Like, me, Alana Banks. I don't dance on camera, right? Whether it's on a Zoom so-called dance break, I don't participate in those. And I don't do the like TikTok style, like it's less and less that's happening, but like dancing in a reel, or it's cousin pointing at air and then superimposing words over the spot on the screen where you're pointing. I don't do that. I don't do that. Again, I'm not criticizing those trends, and I totally get why people do those things. If you like those things, do it. It's just not for me.
I feel like those are becoming less and less too. Like I feel like I haven't seen that in a while.
Everything's on an arc, and those are on the way.
I think that's on the way down.
Yeah.
Which trend? It's not that I don't get it. But something that I don't think I would do is I don't know who needs to hear this, but blah 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 blah.
The cliches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those really, I don't know. Those I'm just like, I'm not available for that stuff.
I try to avoid those. Again, and I think that also falls into the category of it's not wrong, right?
No.
People consume that type of content and like it. But I've always had, just even before social media, I've had a personal aversion to cliches like that. Like I don't know who needs to hear this, but ... I was today years old when I learned ... They're just a little, they're so like commonly used that I don't know. To me, it feels like I actually have an uncomfortable feeling in my body right now thinking about using those cliches. But it's totally a me thing, right? It's not a me thing, but it's like, it's not wrong because those are really effective hooks and, hooks that people respond to, or it's a good idea to use them, right?
I know. And this is the problem, right? When you want to be different, which has kind of always been me, it sometimes can take you a little bit longer to get to the destination. That's all.
Yeah. Let's see. What's number 12 on the list? If social media platforms were people, how would you describe their personalities and which one would be your best friend?
Oh. Cute question.
Geez. I don't know. Do you want to answer that one?
I would say Twitter is your friend who's like very factual, very logical, and has like a whole bunch of one-liners. Okay. I would say Instagram is kind of like your party friend, the one that's super enthusiastic and always has the best places to go to and knows all the cool music and like has all the trends. And then Facebook is like your BFF from, preschool or something like that. Like the most comfortable, most comforting friend who knows you, who knows everything about your family, who just like, you may not see them all the time, but when you do get together, it's just like no time has passed.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at those three.
All right, there you go. There's the answer. We'll just leave it. I'm not even going to contribute to this question because you got it. You did
I
it.
nailed that. Yeah.
You nailed it. Yeah. Um,
Um,
Number 11 is not bad, is a good question. Share a moment when a piece of social media content you posted had an unexpected impact or reaction.
hmm.
Like every time I have something that goes viral, I
Yeah.
never expect it, right? And I remember the first time I posted a reel and it got like in a couple of days it had like 16,000 views, which for me is a lot currently, but for
Yeah.
maybe some people that's not mind blowing. But I only had at the time I only had 6,000 followers on that platform, so a lot of people who weren't following me saw my reel, and that was surprising. That was cool. I think the
Yeah.
answer to this one is that like sometimes you post a piece of content and you think it's just not great or it's meh, and like you're just like whatever, this is pretty good, but it's not gonna knock down any buildings, and then it knocks down buildings and it's super popular and gets tons of comments or whatever. That's always
Yeah.
a surprise.
Yeah. I'm just looking to kind of for me, I remember something similar to that happening. I posted a video of me tapping and
Like tap
then I
dancing, like old school on a
no,
wooden
no,
floor.
like EFT tapping and but like had no sound.
EFT, the
So
extraterrestrial.
what's that?
Oh no, that's ET, the
Yeah,
extraterrestrial, right?
EFT,
EFT.
emotional freedom technique.
I know what it is. I'm just teasing.
I know. But I ended up filming myself doing this tapping and then sped it up and put some cool music on top of it and then like wrote some sort of like inspiring content. And that I think is my most viewed reel to date, which is over 5,000, which is big for me because I don't usually get that many views on my reels. But I remember just posting it just so like, oh, I'm going to see how this goes. And like immediately I posted it and like put my phone down and then picked it up a couple minutes later. And I had like an insane amount of like views and likes and, all this stuff on this thing. I was like, oh, that was crazy. I've never had a real experience that type of attention before. So that was kind of cool.
Cool.
Yeah. But it was something different that I would like normally would never have posted.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a clue. Like, I mean, you had one like that. I had one like that. I'm sure many people have had one like that. Keep doing those things. Because sometimes the ones you plan are the ones that tank, right? That get like 100 views. And then you're like, oh, I put so much effort into
I
that.
spent 7 days in a row making this reel and no one likes it.
Yeah.
Uh, um, yeah.
And then the
Cool.
one that you're like quickly posting because you've got to like run out the door, or, like get onto a call or something like that. That's the one that just takes off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So we do one more?
Yeah, sure. If your social media presence was a movie, what would the title be and why?
Yeah. What would the title be and why? If my social media presence were a movie, what movie would it be? All these different movies are coming into my mind, and none of them even remotely describe my social media presence. Independence Day, starring Will Smith. I don't know. I don't know. What's yours?
I feel like it would be a movie kind of like about a whole bunch of change or something like that. Because my social media presence has morphed so much over the years, and I've done so many things and like always incorporated social media or always incorporated that within my social media. So I feel like it could be like chameleon or something like that.
Yeah, maybe Office Space.
Yeah, it could be Office Space.
Office
Because
Space.
when I started out on social media, I was working in public relations, and that was kind of like around when social media was being like birthed, and we were learning how to use it, but also teaching clients how to use it, and like paving this path about like how this was here to stay and it's not going anywhere. So you have to jump on it, just like everyone's talking to Chat GPT right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I went from like very corporate, and then I was teaching at Centennial College for a while, And so then I had all these like little groups with my students on Facebook, for example. Like even now, when I go back into my Facebook groups, like I still have all these like private groups, which were my little classes. And it's so cute. Like they still exist.
Yeah.
And then I had my fabric store, and that was kind of when I was like this mom blogger. Like I used to blog, like I had my own blog, like I was saying at the beginning of the episode, but I used to also guest blog on like Yummy Mummy Club, and which was like a big mum blog. Erica M from like Much Music back in the day, Much Music. She was like the owner of that blog. I don't even know if it still exists. And then I was blogging for a couple of other big blogging publications.
Cool.
So
Big time blogger.
yeah, and then I had my fabric store. I was doing all this fabric stuff. And then I became a coach. But I continued to use my fabric store community. So that was a big shift for me, because when I posted that I was like getting rid of fabric and I was just going to go the coaching route, I lost like a few hundred followers, which was kind of sad, and not to be expected, I guess. But
Yeah, that's not too bad.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I feel like it would be like, yeah, Chameleon or something. The movie would be called Chameleon.
Yeah, I want to withdraw my earlier answer of Independence Day starring Will Smith. No, like not that at all. And I think I'm just gonna make up a name of a movie to describe my social media, and it's Think Big, Win Bigger.
Mm.
The motivational tale of trying to start a social media empire in your early 30s with Ryan Montes.
Yeah.
Great story, would be a horrible movie.
I think it'd be a great movie. I mean, you could plug that into Chat GPT and get like a whole script written up right now. Create like
I want them.
a little mini what do they call those little mini movies?
Little mini movies. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not going to do it. It needs to. The title is enough. The title is more
Okay.
than it needs to just stay at that. Anything else to add about social media and our journey on social media? I do have one inspiring message.
Okay.
We alluded to this a few times during the episode, and I mentioned it before, but I had almost zero social media presence for all of my 20s. So when I was in my 20s, I was a private investigator, and then I was in the Army. Both are jobs that do not lend themselves to having a lot of information available about you online. And so now I teach social media, but I've really only been using it extensively and thriving in it for the last 3.5, maybe 4 years. So if you're listening to this and you're a coach or you're a hypnotist or you're a new online entrepreneur, and you want to take advantage of the power of social media, but it's overwhelming or it's scary or it's hard because you haven't done it yet, and it's been a long time. I've been there, right? I've been there. I went from not having almost any social media presence whatsoever, and literally not using Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or any of those things for a solid 10 plus year period, while everyone else was learning it and using it extensively. And I was able to get into it, and you can too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my message is just be you. Just show up as you, and you'll attract the people that you want to attract. Because I've metamorphosized. Is that a word?
Yeah,
So many times. And I've because all kinds of people who, follow me from different eras of my life, and clients even. I had a client recently, and I was just like, how did you find out about me? And she's like, I think you used to own like a fabric store, or used to sell fabric or something, and you're now doing this. I was like, yeah.
Yes.
True. So, just have fun with it, I think, is the main message. Like, don't take it too seriously. Because I think some people like take it too seriously and get way too strategic. And then it just doesn't feel authentic anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not a war. It's not going to battle.
Yeah. Like you're just showcasing you online.
Let it be fun.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Cool.
Okay.
right.
Well, that's it for this week.
That's it for this week.
What have you got going on this week, or what have you got going on that our listeners can tune into or purchase or?
Yeah. So launching, actually, I think the week that this episode comes out, it'll be open and accepting members. I'm going to have an online community, training community and membership for learning social media, simple social media. So reach out to me on Instagram. Just shoot me a DM and I'll give you the info, or head over to ryanmontes.com. You'll be able to find information there as well. It's a high value, low investment because I want it to be accessible to lots of people, as many people as need it, where you can get your social media sorted. You can figure out this social media stuff with me. We'll be getting on calls together and, have a private training portal, all kinds of good stuff. I've been developing the curriculum for the last few months based on all my successes and research in the last few years. And I'm really excited for it. So check it out, ryanmontes.com, or shoot me a message on Instagram.
Cool. Yeah. And I've had a sneak peek of what he's talking about, or what Ryan's talking about, and it's really good. So get in on that. It's
information you won't find anywhere else, which is, a hard thing to say in 2023, but it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not just your regular social media membership.
Yeah. Cool. That's what I got going on. I'm excited for that. What do you got going on, Alana Banks?
I mean, I've always got stuff going on, but right now, what I'm really excited about is palm reading. Super excited about palm reading. And I've been working with a whole bunch of people, and the reviews of my palm reading sessions are really, really good. And people are calling them mind-blowing. So if you've ever had any interest in having a palm reading, shoot me a message or go to my Instagram at Alana Banks Coaching, and there's a link right there where you can book a session with me. But it really gives you a lot of clarity, a lot of understanding about like where you've come from and where you are now and where you're going in your life and your path. And we look into all the categories: your health, love, career, success, money. So book a reading with me at Alana Banks Coaching.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it. Great.
Okay, that's it. And go to It's a No Excuses podcast on Instagram. Follow us there and buy some merch.
Merchandise. Buy it. Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye, everyone.